Listen closely, for what I am about to reveal is not mere philosophy. It is a law as immutable as gravity, a truth that governs every action, every decision, every moment of your existence. If you understand and master this law, you will ascend to heights that most men only dream of. If you ignore it, if you allow your mind to be tossed like a ship upon a stormy sea of emotions, you will live your life in endless turmoil, forever a servant to circumstances, forever a victim of others' whims. The first principle that I will engrave into your consciousness is this: your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. Every thought, every feeling, every reaction lays a brick in the edifice of your life. And yet, how few men are aware that they are not the masters of their own minds. They are captives of impulse, slaves to anger, fear, desire, and regret. They give away their power without a moment's hesitation, surrendering their futures to the tyranny of uncontrolled emotion. Emotional reactivity is the silent assassin of greatness. You may possess brilliant ideas, noble ambitions, and a vision of achievement, yet if you allow your emotions to govern your actions, you forfeit your power. Consider for a moment the man who is perpetually angry. His mind is a battlefield. Every thought of vengeance, every moment of resentment, every irritation that takes root consumes energy, clouds judgment, and diverts attention from purpose. In the theater of success, there is no role for the emotionally undisciplined. They falter, they stumble, they surrender victory before it is even earned. Now understand this: emotional detachment is not coldness. It is not the absence of passion. It is the presence of command over the self. The man who masters detachment does not react, he responds. He does not lash out when provoked. He observes, calculates, and acts in accordance with purpose. He does not seek validation from others, for he draws his sense of worth from the inner fortress of his own mind. It is impossible to overstate the value of this mastery. Every success, every achievement, every manifestation of genius begins with thought. A mind governed by emotion is like a river in flood, rushing blindly over rocks, destroying what it touches, leaving ruin in its path. A mind disciplined and detached, however, is a river controlled by a dam, directed with intention, nourishing the fields of opportunity, driving the machinery of achievement with relentless power. But how, you ask, does one acquire such mastery? The first step is definiteness of purpose. Without clarity of aim, no discipline can hold. If your mind is not aligned with a definite goal, your emotions will dictate your path. You will drift like a vessel without rudder, at the mercy of every wind of circumstance. The man who achieves greatness has one thing above all: a purpose so clear, so commanding, that every thought, every decision, every action bends toward its attainment. Once purpose is established, the next principle emerges: self-discipline. Discipline is the bridge between desire and achievement. It is the guardian of the mind, standing vigilant against the storm of impulses, the tide of distractions, the seductive whispers of weakness. Self-discipline is the practice of governing one's own reactions, of pausing before action, of asking whether this thought, this word, this deed serves the greater vision or diminishes it. You must train yourself to recognize the difference between reaction and response. Reaction is impulsive, unthinking, a surrender to the immediate rush of feeling. Response is deliberate, calculated, aligned with principle. One yields power, the other preserves and multiplies it. Think carefully. Which do you choose to be? Which will govern your life? Closely linked with discipline is the principle of auto-suggestion. The mind is a fertile soil, and your thoughts are seeds. Plant carelessly, and you will reap weeds of doubt, fear, and indecision. Plant deliberately, and you will harvest the fruits of courage, clarity, and achievement. Speak to yourself with authority. Declare to your inner self what it is you intend, what it is you command, what it is you will not tolerate. Repetition is your ally. Conviction is your sword. And remember, the mind obeys. Yet, all of this, the clarity of purpose, the discipline, the auto-suggestion, is nothing without mastery over emotion. Let me speak plainly. The ability to detach from emotional turbulence is not granted. It is earned. It is forged through relentless practice, through the conscious decision to observe without being swept away, to feel without surrendering control. When fear rises, you do not shrink. When anger tempts, you do not strike blindly. When desire claws at your reason, you do not yield. You recognize, you measure, you direct, and you act only in accordance with your ultimate aim. Consider the man who has achieved extraordinary success in any field. I will tell you what you will see. A mind disciplined, a mind calm, a mind unshakable in the face of adversity. He has not allowed his ego to dictate. He has not allowed external chaos to corrupt his vision. He acts from the seat of rationality, fortified by emotional detachment, guided by an unyielding commitment to purpose. Now, you may object, saying that emotions are what make life vibrant, what drive passion, what ignite action, and I do not deny it. Passion is the fuel, but it is not the driver. Without the steering wheel of discipline, passion is reckless, destructive, fleeting. Detachment is not absence, it is direction. It channels energy into results rather than regrets. It converts emotion into force that builds rather than force that destroys. Here is the next truth, which many men fail to grasp. Your environment, your circumstances, your fellow men, they possess no inherent power over you unless you surrender it. If you are reactive, if you allow yourself to be tossed by every slight, every insult, every misfortune, you are powerless. If you command your mind, you are invincible. You will navigate crises with grace, convert obstacles into stepping stones, and move forward with an almost frightening inevitability towards success. This is the law of mental neutrality. It is the recognition that the outer world is but a reflection of the inner world. Chaos outside mirrors chaos inside. Calm outside mirrors command inside. You must cultivate inner calm, not for comfort alone, but for power. A tranquil mind is a weapon of immeasurable force. It perceives opportunity where others see disaster. It sees truth where others see confusion. It acts decisively where others falter. And now, let me give you a principle that will transform the way you act in every situation. Thought first, action second. Many men act, then think, they strike, then reason, they speak, then regret. This is the behavior of the untrained mind. The master of self pauses. The master observes. The master aligns thought with purpose before any action is taken. This is where true control resides. Action without forethought is the expression of emotion. Action after deliberate thought is the expression of power. Understand that every great achievement is preceded by inner mastery. A successful man is first victorious within. He has conquered the tempests of his mind, the seductions of impulse, the chaos of uncontrolled feeling. Only then does he confront the outer world with confidence, with precision, with unstoppable momentum. You must practice this every day. Begin by observing your emotions as they arise. Do not suppress them, but do not yield to them. Name them. Understand their origin. Decide whether they will serve your purpose or hinder it. In time, the storm of emotions becomes a tool, not a master. You will learn to summon anger as fuel for action, to harness fear as a signal for preparation, to convert grief into insight. This is the architecture of power. This is the blueprint of success. To master the outer world, you must first master the inner. To command your destiny, you must first command your thoughts. To achieve the extraordinary, you must become the extraordinary starting in your mind. Remember this, and let it burn within your consciousness. Every thought you entertain, every emotion you indulge, every reaction you allow shapes your destiny. The man who fears will remain a prisoner. The man who rages will burn bridges. The man who detaches, observes, and acts with unerring precision becomes a force of nature. You now know the path. The steps are clear. Purpose, discipline, autosuggestion, emotional mastery, mental neutrality, thought before action, each a pillar supporting the edifice of achievement. The task before you is relentless practice, unyielding commitment, and the courage to rise above the mediocrity of emotional slavery. And so I leave you with this charge. Take command of your mind. Build your fortress of calm. Let every thought serve your ultimate aim. Allow no emotion to govern you unbidden. Respond with purpose, act with clarity, and pursue your vision with unflinching determination. Success is not a gift. It is not a matter of luck. It is the inevitable result of a mind fully controlled, fully disciplined, and fully devoted to its purpose. The power is in your hands, but only if you seize it. The world bows not to emotion, nor to circumstance, nor to the whims of fate. It bows to thought directed by will. It yields to mastery, to discipline, to those who have tamed the inner tempest and walk unshaken toward their destiny. You are the architect, you are the commander, you are the master. The mind is everything what you think you become. Let us now examine the principle of definiteness of purpose in its most unyielding form. Understand, without clarity of purpose, no man can hope to achieve anything beyond mediocrity. The mind without direction is like a bow without an arrow, a sword without a hand to wield it, a river without a channel, wasted potential spilling into the void. You must define with ruthless precision what it is you seek. Your purpose must not be a fleeting wish, a whisper of desire easily silenced by circumstance or opinion. It must be a flame that burns so brightly within you that no obstacle, no doubt, no criticism can extinguish it. It is this flame that will guide your thoughts, shape your actions, and compel the universe itself to yield to your will. A man who lacks definiteness of purpose is tossed about by every influence, enslaved to the opinions of others, and driven by whims instead of vision. He is a mariner at sea without compass or star, drifting endlessly, waiting for currents to carry him where they will. But the man who possesses a definite purpose commands his vessel with confidence. He knows the course. He navigates storms with unshakable resolve. And even when the waters are treacherous, he is not deterred, for the mind focused upon purpose knows no surrender. Next comes self-discipline, the sinew and muscle of the mind. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality, between ambition and achievement. It is forged in the fires of daily practice, in the small victories over self that accumulate to extraordinary power. Discipline is not punishment. It is the mastery of impulse, the command over desire, the unwavering attention to the end goal above the fleeting satisfaction of the moment. To be undisciplined is to relinquish your power to chance, to circumstance, and to emotion. To be disciplined is to become invincible. Consider the man faced with adversity. He who is undisciplined reacts with fear or anger, lashes out at the world, or succumbs to despair. But the disciplined man perceives the same adversity and, guided by purpose, converts it into opportunity. He does not resist the challenge with emotion. He responds with calculated action. Discipline is not convenience. It is sacrifice. It is the refusal to indulge every passing thought, the denial of every impulse that does not serve your ultimate aim. And in this denial lies the key to freedom, for true freedom is mastery of the self, not of circumstance. But discipline alone is insufficient if the mind is left untended. Here we introduce the principle of autosuggestion, the deliberate shaping of thought through conscious repetition and affirmation. The mind is a garden, fertile and responsive. Every thought you cultivate grows. Every idea you nurture manifests. You are both the gardener and the sower. Speak to yourself with authority, not timidly. Declare your purpose, affirm your abilities, and visualize the achievement as though it has already been attained. Repeat these declarations until they take root in the soil of your consciousness, and your actions will inevitably conform to the new reality you have planted. And yet, even with purpose, discipline, and autosuggestion, the greatest obstacle remains, the storm of uncontrolled emotion. Here lies the crucial battlefield. The man who cannot master his emotions is a prisoner, his mind a cage, his destiny dictated by the capriciousness of feeling. Emotional detachment is the cornerstone of mental power. It does not mean insensitivity. It means command. It means the ability to observe without being consumed, to feel without being enslaved. A detached mind is calm, rational, and decisive. It perceives truth where others see illusion, opportunity where others see threat, solution where others see only chaos. This mastery over emotion is cultivated through vigilance. Observe your reactions as they arise, pause before action, question the motive behind each impulse, ask whether it serves your purpose or diminishes it. In this practice lies freedom, for every thought you command, every feeling you control increases your power exponentially. Fear becomes a signal, not a master. Anger becomes a fuel, not a tyrant. Desire becomes a tool, not a chain. And as your mind grows disciplined, as your spirit becomes unshakable, the outer world bows to the inner command. Closely allied with this is the principle of accurate thinking. The man who allows assumptions, hearsay, or prejudice to dictate his decisions is like a blind man navigating a cliffside path. Accurate thinking is the relentless pursuit of truth. It is the habit of questioning every assertion, examining every premise, and rejecting anything not aligned with evidence, reason, and principle. Thought guided by accuracy is invincible. Thought clouded by error is doomed. To master your inner world, you must relentlessly cultivate the ability to discern reality from illusion, fact from opinion, strategy from impulse. And now, understand the critical distinction between response and reaction. Reaction is immediate, impulsive, uncontrolled. It is the surrender to emotion, the yielding of power. Response is deliberate, measured, aligned with purpose. A reactive man is driven by circumstance. A responsive man commands circumstance. The difference is the difference between failure and success, between chaos and command, between a life wasted and a life fulfilled. To cultivate response is to seize the reins of destiny, to refuse the tyranny of circumstance, to assert mastery over every thought, every feeling, every action. Let us also consider the principle of mental neutrality, the recognition that the world itself is neither friend nor enemy, neither obstacle nor boon, except as you perceive it. The external world is a mirror, reflecting the state of your inner mind. Chaos outside reflects chaos inside. Calm outside reflects mastery within. He who cultivates mental neutrality is impervious to manipulation, immune to provocation, unshaken by fortune or misfortune. This is the power of detachment, the ability to act decisively and effectively without being distracted by the superficial noise of life. It is in this alignment of thought, emotion, and action that true greatness emerges. A man disciplined in mind, detached in emotion, guided by definite purpose, fortified by accurate thought, and nourished by the deliberate cultivation of his inner self is unstoppable. He confronts adversity not with panic or complaint, but with calculation and resolve. He does not wait for opportunity. He creates it. He does not falter in the presence of challenge. He thrives. He is not moved by praise or criticism. He is guided by principle. And now, consider the practical application of these principles. Begin each day with a clear declaration of purpose. Speak to yourself with conviction, envisioning the actions and outcomes you intend. Guard your mind against distractions, rumors, and impulses that do not serve your aim. When faced with provocation, pause, observe, respond. Do not react. Transform anger into focus, fear into preparation, desire into disciplined action. Every moment, every thought, every choice is a chance to strengthen your mastery, to assert your command, to march unflinching toward achievement. Remember always, the mind is the only instrument through which you wield influence over reality. The world does not act upon you, you act upon the world, but only through the power of thought. Those who understand this law shape destiny. Those who do not are shaped by it, as clay is molded by the potter. To master your mind is to become the architect of fate, the engineer of achievement, the commander of circumstance. So I charge you now with the solemn responsibility of vigilance. Guard your mind as a fortress. Allow no unproductive thought to take root. Permit no emotion to govern unbidden. Speak to yourself with authority. Act with deliberation. Align every impulse, every desire, every action with the pursuit of your defined purpose. Build the unshakable inner fortress from which all power flows. And when the storms of life rise, when adversity strikes, when opportunity and danger collide, you will stand immovable, commanding the forces around you with the calm, deliberate power of the disciplined mind. Your success, your achievement, your destiny are within reach. The path is neither obscure nor hidden. It lies straight before you, defined by principle, illuminated by discipline, and traversed by those who possess the courage to seize mastery over themselves. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Guard it, guide it, command it. And from this inner command will emerge a life of extraordinary accomplishment, a life of influence, a life of unshakable triumph. Consider now the relationship between adversity and inner mastery. Many men view obstacles as punishment, as cruelty imposed by the world, as signs of limitation. But the mind trained in detachment perceives differently. It recognizes adversity as the crucible of greatness, the forge in which character is tempered and power is revealed. Every challenge, every setback, every misfortune is nothing more than a mirror, reflecting the state of your inner discipline. When you respond with clarity, when you act with purpose, when you rise above impulse, the world itself bends to your resolve. But if you react with panic, with complaint, with emotional surrender, then the world does not bend, it crushes. Imagine the man who faces ruin in business, betrayal in friendship, failure in endeavor. The untrained mind is paralyzed, gripped by fear, dominated by rage, consumed by despair. Yet the masterful mind perceives these circumstances as opportunities. Each difficulty conceals a lesson. Each trial contains a strategy. Each loss hides the seed of victory. Emotional detachment does not render one indifferent. It renders one observant, calculating, decisive. To command your mind is to command reality itself, for all outcomes are filtered through the lens of perception, and perception is born in the mind. Now let us speak of initiative, the vital spark that separates the successful from the unsuccessful. The man who waits is a man who loses. To wait is to yield to circumstance, to allow the whims of fate to dictate your fortune. But initiative, the decisive, fearless action born of purpose and tempered by discipline, is the act of a master. It is the recognition that life rewards decisiveness, that thought alone is insufficient without movement, that strategy divorced from execution is impotence. Initiative is born from clarity, empowered by detachment, guided by purpose, and disciplined by mental control. It is the engine of achievement, the catalyst of destiny. Here, let us pause, though, only briefly in the current flow of thought and examine the principle of thought as the precursor to action. Nothing in the external world manifests without first being conceived within the mind. A building does not rise until an architect has designed it. A business does not flourish until a strategist has planned it. A life of achievement does not exist until it has been imagined, envisioned, and meticulously pursued. Every action you take is an extension of thought. Every consequence is the harvest of inner deliberation. Thus, mastery over thought is mastery over life itself. Guard your thoughts as fiercely as a general guards his command post. Permit no unproductive idea, no distracting desire, no reactive impulse to gain dominion. The moment you allow such seeds to take root, you begin to sow weakness, disorder, and limitation. And yet, even the most disciplined mind must learn the subtle art of calmness under pressure. The world conspires to provoke, to agitate, to distract. The impulsive mind flares like a candle in the wind, extinguished by every gust, but the mind trained in detachment remains steadfast. Calmness is not passivity, it is control. It is the recognition that every situation contains within it the opportunity for effective action, but only if approached with serenity, focus, and deliberate thought. Calmness magnifies power, for energy wasted in reaction is energy lost. Calmness aligns the mind, concentrates effort, and converts pressure into propulsion. Now, let us explore the compounding effect of disciplined, detached action. Consider the man who acts with purpose but allows emotion to cloud judgment. His victories are fleeting, his achievements unstable. Consider the man who acts with discipline but lacks vision. His progress is directionless, scattered, and unfulfilled. Now consider the man who integrates purpose, discipline, thought mastery, emotional detachment, accurate thinking, and decisive initiative. This is the man who achieves the extraordinary, the man who bends circumstance, the man whose influence radiates outward, affecting not just his own life, but the lives of all within his sphere. Each principle reinforces the other. Each moment of mastery compounds upon the last. Each decision executed with clarity strengthens the fortress of the mind. And in this compounding mastery lies the essence of unstoppable success. At this point, recognize that failure itself is a teacher, not a master. The emotionally enslaved mind fears failure, resists it, and is paralyzed by it. The detached, disciplined mind welcomes failure as a guide, a signal, a necessary element in the refinement of skill and character. Every setback is an examination. Every loss is data. every error is feedback. The mind that cannot detach from emotion cannot learn. The mind that cannot learn stagnates. The mind that stagnates remains powerless. Embrace failure, analyze it, extract its essence, and let it strengthen your command over thought, action, and circumstance. And now, let us confront the ultimate law. The mind shapes destiny with unwavering consistency. The man who believes himself capable of greatness and disciplines every thought, feeling, and action to that end will inevitably achieve. The man who surrenders to distraction, desire, or impulse will inevitably falter. There is no compromise in this law. There is no middle ground. The mind is a sovereign power. It is the instrument through which you sculpt your future, the battlefield upon which victory is won or lost, the forge in which character, skill, and achievement are welded into unshakable reality. You must now, with every fiber of your being, commit to unyielding vigilance over your inner world. Begin each day by examining your thoughts, testing your impulses, and reaffirming your purpose. End each day by reviewing your actions, correcting deviations, and reinforcing mastery. Refuse to permit a single moment of indulgence in aimless worry, reactionary anger, or unproductive desire. Every minute, every second is an opportunity to fortify the mind, to command the spirit, to direct the will. Neglect no moment, for time itself is the currency of achievement, and squandered time is the enemy of destiny. And as we approach the zenith of understanding, understand this: true power lies in mastery over self, not over others. The man who seeks control of circumstances, wealth, or position without first mastering his own mind is a fool. He is at the mercy of every emotion, every impulse, every unpredictable force. But the man who masters himself, his thoughts, his emotions, his decisions, is impervious. He navigates the world as a general commands his army. The storms of fortune, the tempests of misfortune, the sirens of distraction, they do not sway him. He is steadfast, he is decisive, he is unstoppable. This is the path to unstoppable success, to a life of achievement beyond measure, to influence that endures, to peace that cannot be disturbed. Every moment you command your mind, you step closer to it. Every thought disciplined, every emotion observed, every action aligned with purpose is a victory, a brick in the edifice of your destiny. And when all these principles converge, when thought, purpose, discipline, detachment, accurate thinking, calmness, initiative, and response coalesce, you become not merely a man who achieves, but a man who transcends, a mind that shapes reality, a force that cannot be denied. Remember this final truth, for it is the foundation upon which all else rests. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Guard it, feed it, train it, command it. And from this inner mastery flows every form of outer success, every measure of influence, every expression of greatness. And now, my friend, hear this as though it were thunder rolling across the landscape of your soul. You are the master of your mind, and through it, the master of your destiny. No man, no circumstance, no force external to your being holds dominion over your life unless you permit it. The storms of fortune may rage, the sirens of distraction may scream, the tempests of doubt may batter your resolve, but if your mind is anchored in clarity, fortified by discipline, and shielded by detachment, nothing can move you. You stand immovable, unshakable, unconquerable. This is the power of the mind mastered. This is the ultimate law. What you think, you become. Feel it now, deep within you, the fire that rises when you recognize the absolute sovereignty of your consciousness. Every fleeting desire, every impulsive thought, every petty fear that has enslaved you in the past must now bow to your authority. No longer will you react blindly, for you will respond deliberately. No longer will emotions dictate your course, for you will govern them with precision. No longer will circumstance determine your worth, for you will define it through action and thought aligned with purpose. See clearly the life you are meant to live, not as a distant fantasy, not as a whispered dream, but as an inevitable reality, born from the unwavering application of principle, born from relentless self-command, born from the unshakable belief in your ability to shape the world through the power of thought. Your future is not written by the random, chaotic hands of chance. It is authored by you. Every hour, every thought, every decision, every deliberate act of mastery over yourself. And so I command you, take control now. Let your mind become a fortress, impervious to the chaos of emotion and distraction. Let your thoughts become instruments of purpose. Your decisions become instruments of action. Your will become an unbreakable force that bends circumstance to your design. Speak to yourself with authority, for your mind obeys the voice it hears most persistently. Affirm your purpose until it courses through your veins. Train your discipline until habit and instinct serve only your highest aim. Observe your emotions until they no longer control you, but flow through you as instruments of clarity and action. Visualize the man you must become. See him standing atop the pinnacle of achievement, calm in adversity, decisive in action, unwavering in purpose. Feel him not as a distant ideal, but as a reflection of what is already within you, waiting to be commanded, waiting to be awakened. That man is not born, he is forged. He is not given, he is claimed, he is not stumbled upon, he is deliberately created, thought by thought, decision by decision, moment by moment. Understand this clearly. Success, influence, and peace are not given. They are seized through mastery of the mind. The weak surrender to distraction, the impulsive bow to emotion, the untrained are enslaved by circumstance, but the disciplined, detached, purpose-driven mind commands life itself. It moves mountains of challenge with the force of calm calculation. It bends the currents of fortune with the rudder of unshakable will. It achieves the extraordinary because it refuses the ordinary, because it commands every thought, every feeling, every action in the service of an unyielding purpose. Let your mind now rise to the occasion. Let every lingering doubt, every shadow of fear, every fragment of indecision be swept aside by the clarity of purpose, the force of discipline, the precision of thought, and the calm of detachment. You are no longer a passenger in your life. You are the pilot, the strategist, the commander, the architect of every outcome. The universe bends not because it must, but because the mastery within you compels it to. And as you step forward into this truth, feel the transformation take hold. Feel the chains of limitation shatter. Feel the wings of potential spread wide. Feel the surge of unstoppable energy that comes from a mind in perfect command of itself. You are now, in this very moment, the master of all that you think, the ruler of all that you feel, the architect of all that you will achieve. Every second of inaction is now a choice to strengthen that command. Every decision is now an opportunity to expand it. Every thought is now a declaration of your ultimate sovereignty. So rise, and rise fully. Let no obstacle intimidate you, no setback diminish you, no criticism sway you. Command your emotions, master your thoughts, act with purpose, and pursue your destiny with unrelenting force. Remember always, with every fiber of your being, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are not defined by past failure. You are not limited by fear. You are and always have been capable of greatness beyond measure. Claim it now, command it now, become it now, and in this declaration, in this absolute assertion of inner sovereignty, understand that the path forward is unassailable. Every principle you have learned, the clarity of purpose, the rigor of discipline, the power of autosuggestion, the mastery over emotion, the precision of accurate thinking, the deliberate use of initiative, the calm in chaos, the compound effect of consistent mastery is now your instrument. Wield it with authority. Forge your life with determination. Shape your destiny with relentless application. And as you do, remember this final truth, engraved in the bedrock of all achievement. The mind is everything. What you think, you become, and nothing external to you, can limit the power of a mind fully commanded. Stand now, fully awake, fully sovereign, fully empowered. The life of extraordinary achievement, unshakable peace, and unstoppable success is yours to seize. Step forward into it with courage, with clarity, with conviction. Command your thoughts, master your emotions. Act with unyielding purpose, and rise into the fullness of the life you were meant to create, knowing with absolute certainty that you are the architect, the warrior, and the master of your destiny. And as you rise into this moment of absolute clarity, recognize this: the mind is not merely a tool, it is the forge in which your destiny is hammered, the crucible where every weakness is melted away, and every latent power is transmuted into action, achievement, and triumph. You have, perhaps unknowingly, allowed the trivial, the petty, the fleeting to govern you, but that era is over. From this moment forward, every thought will serve your purpose. Every feeling will obey your command. Every action will march in alignment with the vision of the life you are determined to claim. This is not hyperbole. This is the natural law of the universe. Thought precedes action, emotion precedes circumstance, and discipline precedes victory. Understand now the secret that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It is not talent, it is not luck, it is not circumstance, it is command over oneself. Those who bend reality bend it not with sheer force or charm, but with mastery over the inner world. They have trained their minds as a warrior trains his body, as a master trains his craft. They have cultivated calmness in chaos, decisiveness in uncertainty, and unwavering purpose in the face of distraction. And so must you. Consider for a moment the mind untamed. It is a storm, unpredictable, destructive, a whirlwind that carries you wherever emotion wills. Anxiety, fear, frustration, anger, these are the chains that bind the weak. But the disciplined mind, the disciplined mind is a lighthouse, immovable amidst the waves, a citadel that cannot be breached, a force that directs the chaos of life into streams of achievement and opportunity. To live without mastery of thought is to drift. To live with mastery is to command. Every man or woman who achieves greatness has done so not because the world favored them, but because they commanded their inner world. And so, I demand of you, observe your thoughts. Separate them, as the jeweler separates gold from dross. Which thoughts serve your purpose? Which thoughts empower you? Which thoughts must be banished, discarded, never to rise again? The mind is fertile, it will grow what it is fed. Feed it fear, and despair grows. Feed it distraction, and mediocrity grows. Feed it discipline, and clarity grows. Feed it purpose, and greatness grows. This is the law of cause and effect made visible in the realm of the inner world. Cause in the mind, effect in life. But observation alone is not enough. You must act with relentless persistence. Discipline must become habit, and habit must become instinct. Every morning, every hour, every second becomes an opportunity to reinforce your sovereignty over yourself. You will not allow the whims of others, the insults of circumstance, or the turbulence of emotion to steal from you your power. You will act deliberately. You will respond, not react. You will measure, evaluate, and proceed with precision. And in doing so, you become not only a master of your fate, but a force that shapes the very world around you. Do you feel it now, the surge of awakening in your chest? That is the spark of your latent genius, the genius that has been waiting for this moment, waiting for the declaration of mastery over self. It is not found in books alone, nor in lectures, nor in the praise of others. It is found in the furnace of disciplined thought, the crucible of controlled emotion, the relentless application of your will to your purpose. And once you awaken it, once you claim it, nothing, absolutely nothing can impede your ascent. Picture yourself now, standing at the precipice of achievement, the life you dream of stretched out before you as though painted on the sky. Every opportunity, every victory, every measure of success, yours to take, yours to command. And yet, the path is not without challenge, for the universe tests all who aspire to mastery. It is in these trials, in the moments of pressure, that your detachment, your discipline, your mastery over thought and emotion will shine. Where others crumble in fear, you stand. Where others falter in doubt, you advance. Where others are overwhelmed by circumstance, you bend it to your design. This is the power of a mind that has become everything. And now, take it deeper. Recognize that emotions are not enemies, they are instruments. Anger becomes fuel for action. Fear becomes data for calculation. Doubt becomes the forge for conviction. And passion becomes the compass for purpose. But only when guided by a mind detached, calm, and deliberate. The uncontrolled mind is destroyed by these forces. The disciplined mind channels them into mastery. Every great achievement in history, every empire built, every invention conceived, every act of courage, every revolution was the product of a mind that refused to be ruled by fleeting feelings, a mind that demanded obedience from the storm within, a mind that knew, I think, therefore I command, therefore I become. And now, feel the crescendo within you, the unstoppable force of a mind, heart, and will fully aligned. Your body trembles, not in fear, but in recognition of the power stirring in your veins. Your heart beats, not in hesitation, but in rhythm with the drum of victory. Your thoughts surge, not chaotically, but as a torrent of clarity, purpose, and absolute command. You are no longer a spectator in your life, you are the conductor of the symphony, the architect of reality, the warrior of your own destiny. Every second you breathe, every thought you allow, every action you take must be an act of absolute alignment with the life you are destined to create. This is your calling, your charge, your irrevocable command. Master your mind, command your emotions, and act with unyielding purpose. Let every fleeting distraction be swept aside, every doubt be crushed under the weight of discipline, every fear be reduced to mere data, every hesitation be obliterated by decisive action. Let your inner world shine so brightly, so powerfully, so irresistibly that the external world bends, shifts, and yields to your influence. The mind that is disciplined, detached, and aligned is not merely a tool, it is a weapon, a beacon, a force that shapes reality itself. And now, hear these words echo through your very soul. Nothing can stop you but your own surrender. There are no enemies but those you harbor within. There are no obstacles but those you imagine. There are no limits but those you accept. And so I command you, reject limitation, reject hesitation, reject mediocrity. Embrace clarity, embrace discipline, embrace sovereignty of mind. Step fully into the power that has always been yours. For the mind is everything. What you think, you become. What you think, you manifest. What you think, you command. And I tell you now, rise to that truth with unrelenting ferocity, and let the world witness the unstoppable force of a mind fully awakened, a spirit fully sovereign, and a life fully mastered.